Hey guys, welcome. This is Brad Krantz with
Ruthie
Ruth. We are
Snyderlin.
talking about change your world here today. And first thing I want to note about this, guys, we both were able to watch John Maxwell be interviewed by Ed Milet this week. Great interview. And sometimes, even you've read some of the book, all of it, you get different perspectives, which I certainly did off of Ed interviewing John Maxwell. I mean, great interview. But one of the things I learned too, the title of the book, Change Your World, it'd be something like if you ask your kids, you ask them, hey, what's your goal? And say, I want to change the world. You'd say, well, let's tone that down a little bit. That's kind of big, but this is about changing your world here, right, guys? So you can do it. Anybody can change their own world. And we're going to talk about some of the aspects here. So first, I wanted to note transformation is an inside job. That's something John Maxwell said. And this is one of my favorite quotes from him too. And I like the clarity that he brought to it, that everything rises or falls on leadership.
That's
right. And we talked about a situation here I won't get into, but good leadership, things are going to rise. Bad leadership, things are going to fall. But he answered the question, he goes, what makes leadership rise? And I thought this was great, Ruth. Two things: confidence and good values. Give me your take on those.
Well, I think good values makes change possible. And every value is within our reach. So even in the Change Your World book, John Maxwell goes into a whole list of what those values are. You see, because in order for us to see our world around us changed, we have to see transformation. And transformation, when we begin to help people to transform, is we begin to equip people to live a life of good values that increases their value to themselves and to the people around them. And so values is core when we're talking about transformation and changing our world.
Yeah. So the confidence, you have to have confidence as a leader. Obviously, the good values, we're not going to get into all those, but just like, the golden rule, do unto others, as you would like have done unto you. It's not do unto others before they do unto you. But I think that's, as simple as that sounds, as wise as that is, that's a great starting point to help you as a leader rise, or your leadership to rise, and to help toward transformation being an inside job. So let's shift gears, Ruth. I want to talk about this idea of the transformation table. That's an interesting concept. I haven't read that chapter yet, but John Maxwell talked about it with Ed, and I found it really enlightening and just very thought-provoking.
Yeah. So I think what the John Maxwell team is trying to do right now through Change Your World is that we're trying to put together a group of people who are individually come to the table and they take time to talk amongst themselves. What does it mean for me personally to change my world? And I think one of the things that we have to always remember is that good values that we want to live in ourselves, and we expect other people want to live and embrace those good values. The truth is that those things don't necessarily happen in other people until they make the decision to change. Because change only happens when you decide, or when your friend decides. You can't decide for your friend. You can only decide for yourself. And so that makes a huge difference when we're talking about transformation.
Okay. So let me bring him. He talked about, and I thought these were great questions. Followers of a leader, let's just say you could be in the corporate world, the maybe church ministry, you could be private, entrepreneur, whatever, but followers ask their leaders three questions. One, do you care for me? Okay. That's huge. Two, can you help me? And then thirdly, can I trust you? Ruth, talk about those, because those are really powerful. If you think about it, and I haven't heard anybody outside of John Maxwell really talking about this. I got hired in my job. I didn't have my boss sit down and say, hey, I'm going to care for you. I'm going to help you, and you can trust me. You kind of come to find out that maybe one, if not all three of those questions really aren't part of the team or the organization that you are spending a good part of your life in, sadly.
Right. And I think that leadership, when it comes down to it, is that we are people of value who value people, and we want to add value to other people. And so, I mean, that's really the DNA of the John Maxwell and the John Maxwell team, is that we desire to add value to other people. And not only that, is that when people are in leadership, their desire is that they have to change. It starts first with me. That's where it begins. And so that's where the transformation begins.
Great. And Ruth, we're going to continue this a little bit more here, probably not next week. I'm out of town, but we're going to get into a little bit more, I think, talk about this transformation table. And Ruth, you've got one coming up here next month. Can you just share real briefly what that's about, and can somebody join that?
Yeah. So it's starting in May, and if you're interested in joining, go ahead and private message me. But it's really an 8-week sit down at the table. There'll be between 6 and 8 people who join. Actually, Brad's going to join with me, and we're going to just sit down at the table every week, and probably via Zoom, and we'll be reading a different value. And the first week it starts with hope. And so we sit down and we read together about what does hope really mean? And we answer questions together. As we talk about changing our world, it has to start with me. And I have to understand what it's going to require as we look into transformation.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Ruth, thank you so much for joining me here today, guys. Thanks for tuning into our Change Your World, guys. We look forward to hearing from you. Please reach out if you got questions, you want to know more about what we're doing. I can certainly recommend the book by John Maxwell, Change Your World, and tune in to us in a couple of weeks. We'll talk more about the transformation table, what that means, what that looks like, and again, how you could be involved with that. So Ruth, thanks so much for joining me today. And guys, have an awesome weekend. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.